So you spend 365 days going about your life in this world full of injustice, people willing to surly your name, the poor, the rich, the strong, the weak, the educated, the illiterate, the oppressor, the oppressed, and the inability of man to stand up to what's wrong because of the fear of losing the status quo, wealth, and worldly possessions. The Stoics used to reflect on your day by writing down your thoughts, seeking clarity in everything that they did. They strove to be better people, they learned from their mistakes and that of others, and the ultimate goal was strive to be a better human being to your fellow humans and to yourself even. So, for the past 365 days, I've read a number of books and I've picked my top 5 favorites to reflect on by the end of the year. I have 3 categories: philosophy, religion, and nonfiction, and I have at least one book from each category. So, let's begin by looking at meditations. When you think of the word meditation, you think of someone sitting quietly in a still position and just doing nothing. That is not the case with the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. This is a book written by a man called Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was a 2nd century Roman emperor who strove to be a better person each day by writing his thoughts down in his journal. In this book, Meditation, he showed gratitude to his parents, to his guardians, to his upbringing, to his wife, to his teachers, to his brothers, to his people, all the way down to his children. And he even appreciated the little and beautiful things in life, like when he mentioned the cracking of a loaf of bread in an oven has its own right, and he acknowledged the good side of the world, the good that others have done unto him, and he even recognized the ugly side of the world. He wrote in his journal as much as he could, not as a way to sell it to someone or show his people how considerate of an emperor he was, but as a way to clear his mind and reflect on later and see the things that he's done. This book was meant solely for him. This is his journal, and all thanks to his humble and appreciative character, the reader gets to see life from his point of view. And at the end of the day, despite ruling a large empire, he's just a humble servant of philosophy and someone who strove to be a better person each day to his fellows. While some philosophers might have been kings, might have had access to the finest teachers, that was not the case for Epictetus. He was born a slave. In fact, the name Epictetus literally means the acquired one. He was born a slave, and later he moved to a different city with a broken limb where he met one of his teachers, and he himself later became a teacher where he taught orally. It was one of his students who wrote down his teachings and sayings, which later became the Enchiridion as we know it today, or the teachings of Epictetus as we know it today. The book is full of wise sayings, such as appreciating the difference between what we can control and what we cannot control. There are some things that we can control, and there are some things that were predestined to happen. So it doesn't matter however we fight against it, we would only be hurting ourselves. And one might ask, if some things are already predestined, do we have free will then? The difference between free will and what you cannot control is the difference between lifting one leg and lifting the second one simultaneously. So the main theme of this book is controlling what we can and appreciating what we can't. Thanks, Epictetus. How would you define a good friendship? What is a good friend? Well, in Letters from the Stoics, Seneca described what friends to hold on to, what friends to not waste your time on, and what kind of friends you should tell a secret. Letters from the Stoics is a series of letters written by Seneca to his friend Lucilius, and this letter contain life lessons and how to live one's life in the simplest manner. As Seneca said, it is not the man that has too little, but the man that craves more that is poor. And he also went on to elaborate on the essence of life in his On the Shortness of Life letter. Seneca might have not been the friend that Lucilius could count on financially, but he gave Lucilius a gift that no amount of money can buy, and that's evergreen. Life isn't only about learning the laws, the philosophies, the logic. It can be about caring for an old friend when hardship hits them. And that's what Mitch Albom did for his old friend and teacher, Maury. Maury was a university teacher to Mitch, and what was meant to happen happened, and he fell ill. And Mitch later came across this story, so he decided to reunite with his old friend and teacher. And it was then they decided to write a book, which is known to be Maury's Last Lessons. In his sick bed and taking his last breaths, Maury agreed to meet on Tuesdays with Mitch to write their final lessons, which became Tuesdays with Maury. And this book is full of wise sayings. It is full of the thoughts of a dying man in a sick bed. I remember reading this book back in high school, and my economics teacher said to me, "That's a very good book." And so I got more interested in it and continued reading it. And just as Seneca gave Lucilius a very priceless gift, Maury gave Mitch a very priceless gift, and thanks to them, the whole world gets to benefit from this priceless gift. No amount of money can buy that. So we now live in a world where people are obsessed with seeing the shortcomings of others exposed. People are working really hard to see your downfall, and it's ridiculous. But that was not the case for Imam al-Bukhari when he was writing the book Sahih al-Bukhari, the most authentic book of the teachings, sayings, and doings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. The goal was not to prove that all the allegations against the Prophet were false, but to prove that the prophethood is authentic. And this is someone we can rely on. With reliable and credible sources, Imam al-Bukhari took his time, maintained his relationship with his God, and remained steadfast upon that, and maintained his sincerity and integrity with himself and his fellow man, and he worked diligently to protect the image and reputation of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Sahih al-Bukhari is basically a life manual after the Holy Quran for Muslims. And this book details the life teachings, the doings, the actions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, how he treated his family, how he treated his companions, and even how he reasoned with those who slandered him, those who killed his own people, those who drove him away, and people who tried to sully his name. This is a true manual for mankind. We appreciate their works, Seneca, Lucilius, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Mitch Albom, Maury, and Imam al-Bukhari. We appreciate their work that they have given to the world. This is truly priceless, and it is evergreen. This is something that no amount of money can buy. Thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something new from this video, or something valuable from this video. And by God's willing, I will see you guys in the next one. Cheerio, and stay cool.